Hi, everyone. I'm Dan, and this is Dana, and welcome to our first ever Facebook Live. Honey, have you ever done any of these before?
First time.
Okay, we're rookies, but be careful with us. So we're going to try to do our best here and have a little bit of fun. I understand it was a crazy day today, honey. So
It was a crazy day.
it was?
Yes.
Okay, I checked out today, so I just got into seafood and got off the news. So
Hopefully we can celebrate and just put our
Yeah,
minds away from that for
All
a
right.
while.
So for cocktails, just to start, I'm having a Dangroni, which is a Negroni, but instead of the gin, I'm having it with a rye whiskey. So that's what I'm drinking. But Dana just decided to go on January dry spell. So she's going to take a few days, weeks, or a month off a little bit. So I commend her. Maybe I'll join you after
Tonight.
today until the next Facebook Live, and we'll do that. So, so a couple of things. I just want to introduce myself as Dan, and Paul is probably watching right now. He's one of my best friends and co-founders of KnowSeafood, and I know that he's probably watching. So, hey, Paul, how you doing? I wish we were doing this together, buddy, but pretty soon, hopefully, we'll get our vaccines and be able to do this. I miss coming up to New Bedford. Dana and I are in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm originally from Massachusetts, grew up on Buzzards Bay, so I'm an ocean guy. I see the water, got to be in it or on it. And my bride here is from
New York City, New York.
New York,
Yeah.
right? So we are East Coast people. So a couple of things that we're going to do. We encourage you to give us some comments and ask us some questions. You can ask anything. Dana's going to be monitoring like all of the questions. One of the benefits you should do is that anybody that mentions a comment, does a post, you're going to be entered into a raffle to win a Nobody seafood box, which will be pretty cool. So we'll do that about 7:25, and it's done randomly. I have no idea how this gets done, but Savannah on our team and Beth are the ones that are going to be. It's like a random pick. So the only way you can get in it is by doing a post, asking a question, something like that. So please do that. Okay. Who knows seafood?
I'm learning. I'm going to hand off to you for that one.
I know seafood. I absolutely love it. Anything in the ocean, absolutely love it. You know, we'll eat it, have done it. Had lobster pots. My dad made me when I was 15, 16. My brother Steve and I haul lobsters up there, go fishing, diving for stuff. So really loved it and got into it as a career. And over the years, you know, being in the food industry and specifically in the seafood industry with Paul over these past 10, 20 years or so, we really saw some of the problems with seafood, and we wanted to do something about it because Paul started a scholar company. It was incredibly successful. It's called Oceans Alive. And really the thing that set Oceans Alive apart was Paul wanted to put his name on the brand. So when it went to chefs and it went to restaurants, they knew it by its name, by its brand. But you had to make sure you had perfect product that was in it. And that was Paul's mission. And he grew this company. Fortunately, believe it or not, on season 5 of Top Chef, we didn't know this was happening, but the finals were in New Orleans, and there were 3 chefs in the finals of Top Chef season 5. And guess what? One of the chefs, they opened up the refrigerator and they handed the blue can. Remember the blue can?
I do.
They handed the blue can and the chef won. Well, Paul went nuts, called me the next morning. He goes, "Did you see that?" And I go, "See what?" And we ended up reaching out to Chef Hosea Rosenberg, and the rest is all history. The company grew successfully. But we still had the problems in the seafood industry where there was such a disconnect from the people that harvest to the people that eat. And it could be 5, 6, or 7 people in between. And when I met Dana, did you like really know about seafood the way
No.
like so just,
Barely ate it.
well, you were actually a vegetarian,
Yeah.
but I met you and I said, if this relationship is going anywhere,
I have to be a pescatarian.
You have to be a pescatarian. So I am a seafood snob. So when we go out to a restaurant, we went to one down here in Raleigh a year or 2 ago, and Dana wanted to get the Scallops at the restaurant. It's a good restaurant. I mean, great chef, great owner, everything. And I asked the waiter, I said, "Can you do me a favor, take a picture of the package that the Scallops come in?" And when he came back, I recognized the brand and I said, "Nope, we're not going to get the Scallops." And because I didn't trust the quality of those Scallops. And the ownership was insulted. And they're like, oh boy, what do I do? And I said, listen, you would not know this because the degrees of separation between you got it and then your customer's going to eat it. So a year or two ago, Paul and I started working on a mission using blockchain technology. I could barely spell blockchain. But we found out that, IBM was working with Walmart because of a problem with romaine lettuce. And do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And it was sad. People got sick and more people died. And we did not know where that romaine lettuce came from. So we worked on it, said, what is this? And we learned a lot about it. Then we called up IBM, so we have an idea. What if we were able to take blockchain, putting the information from every step this travel of the scallops go on, and then give that to the consumer? Would she then trust it because it's immutable? So we went on that mission, and it worked. And all of a sudden, COVID happens, and everything that we're doing stops. So in real time, we saw how people were buying food online, meat online, produce online, and we said, wow, this is an opportunity that we saw we were going to do in 2 or 3 years from now. Let's do it now. And that's how KnowSeafood came born. So we started that one, honey, April. And
I think technically it was
probably March or
middle of March when
middle of March.
your wheels were turning. And so this is our COVID baby.
So this is the COVID baby, kind of like our dog. If you hear a dog bark, we have a COVID dog too. So, but KnowSeafood began then. And I have to tell you, we wanted to launch the beginning of October, ended up being almost the beginning of December. Things never go as you plan. But we did an Indiegogo campaign to try to find out what you thought about our idea. And it wasn't really to sell seafood. Basically, what we wanted to get was information about what do you want in seafood, what you expect. And that was pretty cool, getting that information. So we did that in September and October, and the feedback was amazing. So what we did with the feedback is we changed our model. And the model was, we said some people didn't like tuna. Some people didn't like, is that my Boston accent that just came out? Tuna. So
Idea.
It did. Yeah. Idea. Boehner. So we found out that you didn't want a subscription because you wanted to be able to build your own box. So we decided to do that. And our idea of a subscription is just come back. If you come back within 90 days, we'll give you that 5% off on the free shipping, anything over $99 and so. And we also heard back that, you wanted choices. There's a whole bunch of people out there that just want wild seafood, but there are other people that, want farm raised because of sustainability. And we decided that we believe in choices. I think that's what this country needs to know right now. We got to respect people's choices. So we ended up said, we're going to build some boxes, but we're going to let you build your own box as well. So BYOB, you can build your own box. And additionally, what we decided to do is build a community. The third thing we do is sell seafood, Paul and I, that our mission number one was, can we actually get consumers to trust and eat seafood more often? Could they believe in it? And when we asked and did the surveys, we found out that you had a problem trusting seafood. You'd go to the store and go, I don't know how fresh it is. I don't know how, you'll order it when you go out to eat more often, but not at home. And that was the opportunity we thought we could deliver, is to educate you on that, to tell you what to look for. Whether you buy it from KnowSeafood, or you go to the supermarket, or you go to the restaurant, to the chef, is to ask those questions about your seafood, because it's good for you, and you should be eating seafood more often. So that was what we wanted to create. And hopefully if we did those two things, then KnowSeafood would be successful. And guess what? It is. We've just started. Yeah, I'm gonna get emotional. No, but thank you, because something has happened in the past 30 days, 34 days that we've started. The repeat orders represent 25% of the orders that are coming in. That's amazing. So thank you for doing that. And
I thought it was 27%.
Well, it depends, but I'm going to go on an average and just probably say
okay,
around that or so.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking.
So we really are appreciative of the support.
Yeah.
And tonight we're going to educate people.
Yeah,
cook?
scallops, right?
Okay.
We're going to do it on scallops. But Are there any questions? Do we have any questions here? I don't know. So what we're going to do is be able to show some, I'm going to talk about scallops because that was like the first thing that Paul and I got involved with during the time, is to be able to, bring really good scallops to the restaurant industry, which we did with the Ocean's Live Blue Can. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to cook some scallops, but I want to talk to you about the scallops that we have. And Dana's going to try to figure out if there's any questions.
Oh, no, I can figure it. I'm just going to step back a little, let you cook, and then
Yeah, I'm going to cook. I got to watch the time too.
share some
Also,
comments.
I need a drink. I hope you guys have a glass of wine, or you're winding down and you're on the work from home, which is pretty amazing, working from home. And cheers, hon. Ooh, that's good. I suggest you have a Dan Groening. It's actually called a Boulevardier. Not too many bartenders know it, but just replace the gin with the rye whiskey. It's really, really good. Okay.
So you'll be happy to know, honey. There's quite a community. People are talking to each other here. We got a lot of things going on. But I'm going to start with questions, or do you want to start cooking and then?
Throw a couple questions out.
So we have a question here from Trisha. Trisha from North Carolina, does size matter with scallops? How can you tell fake scallops?
Okay.
Or
great question. This gets a lot, Trisha. That's a great question because I'm going to show you some different sizes of scallops as well. So let me give you a little bit of background. Sea scallops, those wild sea scallops that are my favorite. That's my number one seafood favorite, right? I am known as Dan Scallops. So anyway, when we started this project, one of Paul's and I friends, actually somebody I went to high school with, Dan Erlichson, and his wife, Deneen, they own 6 scallop boats out of New Bedford, Massachusetts. New Bedford, Massachusetts is the most valuable seaport in the United States. It's because of the scallops. But not all boats are equal. So just knowing the name of the boat doesn't mean a thing, right? But Dan has got such a pride on his scallops that he has the best boats in the fleet. They're clean. He actually will carry in, no garbage goes overboard, even though they can do it when they're 150 miles out. He, no bilge water. His crews are the best. And I remember when he started, he said, does it really matter? I said, it does. Just keep doing what you're going to do. And so all of our scallops are coming from Dan. Him and Deneen, they have a permit for 1 million pounds, which sounds like a lot, but the permit for the next year, I think, is around 50 million pounds of scallops that can be landed. But scallops, wild sea scallops, the best ones are caught off the coast of Massachusetts, due east of Nantucket. And what is the reason? The nutrients in the water there are amazing, right? Everything that's flowing up from the Gulf Stream, that whole area, the nutrients are really good. So Trisha, scallops just don't sit on the bottom of the ocean. They actually go like this through the water. And when they open like that, they're actually eating. That's nutrients going into the scallops. Now, when they're in the waters off of Massachusetts, there's stronger currents there. It's also deeper, it's also colder. So they have to work. And that muscle, the abductor muscle that we eat, it gets pretty big. Now, how long does it take for a scallop to get to a certain size, that we're used to? When we go to a restaurant, you'll go and you'll look at usually a 10 count, 10 to the pound. The shells on those things are huge. It can take 6, 7, 8 years for a scallop to grow naturally to that point. What we tend to see and we eat at home is something called a 10-20 count. That's 10 to 20 per pound. And that's what we sell on KnowSeafood. They're roughly about 15, 18 counts right now, and I'm going to cook some of those up. But the scallops are pretty amazing. They're really good for you. They're low in fat, right? I think they got like 1 gram of fat. Incredibly high in protein, 17 grams or 18 grams of protein. Antioxidants. That's how I stay young. Right? Because I drink wine.
I thought I was the antioxidant.
You are the antioxidant. Also, believe it or not, over in Asia, they use scallops actually for healing, for indigestion, and get this, for diabetes. For some of you who do not know, Toots over here is a type 1 diabetic. So she looks really good as a type 1, but even for type 2, just because of the low fat, the high protein, it's really good for you. But Tricia, not all scallops are made the same, right? We only want our waters, scallops coming from the northern waters. There's some that come out of the southern waters, but it's warmer down there and they're softer. It's a different ground. You guys have ever heard of diver-caught scallops? Well, diver-caught scallops, you know, maybe they come out of the coast of Maine, but I remember going to a restaurant where they had diver-caught scallops, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Grand Banks diver-caught dayboat scallops. Well, the guy probably died at the bends because it's 200 and 250 feet deep out there. So that's not a real thing. Diver-caught scallops is just an adjective, so I wouldn't say that. But fake scallops, I really, truthfully, Tricia, I have not seen it. I've heard where people punch them out of skate wings and they do that type of thing. I can't imagine people doing it. Just because of the labor here in the United States, maybe overseas in Asia, but there's no, you know, skate there, but there's no scallops there. So what you want to look for, and I'm going to show these to you.
Okay, and then we've got a few other questions. So I want to keep mindful of time.
Yeah, we got to keep because it's 17.
And get you cooking.
So look at these. So these are about a 15 count. So you can see the nice size on these scallops. Now, one of the things I want to show you, and make sure you take a look at this. See this little piece of flat meat right over here? That's called a sweet meat. And we had a couple of lorries, 2 lorries that called in on it. You should pull that off. This is really chewy. Sometimes it comes off when we shuck, sometimes it doesn't. But make sure you take these things off. So on these scallops, I've already taken them all off, but you can see them. Usually you go to restaurants, the chefs know, and the sous chefs know to take that off. So you should do that. So these are Dan and Deneen scallops that came off one of their boats. Now, when you get our scallops, what you can do is we put a smart label on there, and there's a QR code. And when you scan that code, it'll tell you everything about the journey of the scallops. But you don't have to wait until you get these home. You can do this on our site before you order. You can see the journey. This is called Storybird. This is where VChain, with our blockchain technology, we put all the data up there. We don't do it, our suppliers do it. They allow us to see it, and then we share it with you. So the Storybird solution is where you can see everything happening in your hand. So you scan the Storybird or click on it on the site, you see the entire journey on it. So I'm turning on.
Okay, so we have quite a few questions about how to best sear the scallops. So
okay, you ready?
And specifically, so Layla and Lori, thank you for asking. How do you get a nice golden sear on the scallop that's not too big without overcooking it?
Perfect.
So good to.
So this is a big question, and I think Lori, I might have spoken to you if it's the same Lori. I think it might be because there were 2 Loris I spoke to. So Lori, our scallops are all natural. They're going to cook faster. Because there's no additives in there to extend the shelf life or moisture weight. And you're going to see the difference because I'm going to cook some that have it that I went out to a supermarket today and purchased. And you'll see the golden sear. When you get our scallops, what I suggest you do is take a pan like I have here. I have these green pans, which are really, really nice, environmentally nice. I use avocado oil because it can take the high heat. So bring the heat way up high. You know, that's the best thing you could do is get it up to, you know, we have an induction stove here, but I'm going to be up around 8 or 9 out of 10 in order to do that. So I just heat it up right away. You don't want to put them in there until this pan is extremely hot. And when it gets in there, it's not like 1 minute aside or, 90 seconds aside. I want you to take one scallop, try it first and see how nice and golden brown, and then turn it. And then that will be it. And then you'll see that depending on your stove and depending on your pan, depending on your oil, but don't overcook the scallops. And the other thing, one of the Loris mentioned as well was, she said, the scallops were hard to sear. But what I found out from Lori, and this was Lori out in California. Hi, Lori. You wash the scallops and got them wet. Scallops are a sponge. They'll take water in, and when you go to cook it, the water will come out. So do not soak the scallops. Pat them dry after you thaw them out from us. Just pat them dry like that. Lightly season them like I just did. All right, this is ready. So now what I'm going to do, and this one's ready too. So I'm going to cook 2 different types of scallops. So I'm going to put those in.
So comments here about never methods of cooking scallops, the fact that you should never fry them.
Fry them?
Could you fry them?
I love fried scallops. But
Okay.
usually those would be the smaller ones. It'd be a crime to fry these. It's nothing better than like, well, in New England, you go to, you get a seafood fried dinner with the clams, with the cod, with the shrimp, with scallops. It can be done, but those would be the small ones, like 20 to 30 count. You can
Okay.
get some of those. Hopefully we'll have those coming up. So what we're gonna do right now is just, we're just gonna cook these very shortly. And I'm gonna show you the difference between ours that we have here and another one. And you'll see the difference of them even when they cook. And then I'm gonna plate them as well.
When you say another one, Dan, you mean a competitor?
Yeah, I went to the supermarket and I just said, okay, give me a number of scallops, and I just randomly had them do that. And I'm cooking them in one pan, and I'm cooking the one from Dan and Denise. But I'm going to show you what they look like. While those are cooking, I want to show you something else. Bay scallops. These are from Peru. They are delicious. They're very, very sweet. They're moist, completely different than those. I broil these, right? I just brush them with a little bit of olive oil, pat them dry, a little bit of olive oil, toss them in a breadcrumb, and put them under the broiler. When you put them under the broiler, you don't even have to wait. Turn them over. I mean, you can just put them in. I'll show you what the pan looks like.
Okay. And we got a lot of questions, so we got to keep moving here.
Hey, Zach, this is what we're eating later. Zach is our videographer. Say hello, Jack. Go ahead. There he is. So look what we did. So we did some breadcrumbs, right? We put them on a broiler, and then I took Parmesan cheese, shaved it, and put that on top. Oh, I got some asparagus with some more parm. But the Parmesan cheese on scallops like this, when Paul and I went to Peru, this is where I saw this. And I was like, this is amazing. So, and it tasted delicious. And I just put them underneath the broiler. They get golden brown, that cheese melt, done. Eat them. Even the next day, you get something left over, put them in a nice red sauce with some pasta. They're delicious.
Okay.
Okay.
So keeping you on track.
Keep me going.
Jean Marie from New York. I love this question. What is overcook?
Overcook.
Thank you, Jean Marie.
Seafood. So worst thing you can do with seafood is overcook, because 70% of the body weight in seafood is water. It's moisture. It's kind of like the human, ourselves. That 70 some odd percent of us is moisture. Undercook. If you have to cook more, put more, but do not overcook. And like even when I cook, fillets, like last night we did some halibut. I go in and I take a fork and see if the fillet pulls apart. Done. That's it. You want it nice and moist in there. Do not overcook, especially shrimp. Same thing. Do not overcook it. Okay, I'm turning.
Okay. So Craig, Craig from Massachusetts wants to know wine pairings. We'll get to that after he cooks, but thank you for
Wine pairings?
yeah, he wants to
I
know.
think we ought to ask a Craig that we know about.
That's the Craig we know.
That's the Craig we know.
So Craig, our next Facebook Live, we'll do wine pairings and you'll join us. Jonathan is veto wearing the gator, so I don't think we had Dan pull down, but as part of the No Seafood box, everyone receives 2 No Seafood gators. So some questions have come up as to what they are, but a lot of people have tons of people have taken to them, love wearing them around their neck, and help us just get the word out. So.
Okay. So here is a perfectly seared scallop, right? And if you look at it, it's gone down just about maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then turn it right away. If you look right in there, you can see it. It's gone down about 1/4 of an inch. Then you put it onto the other side. That is a perfectly cooked scallop, and it will stay together. It won't break apart as well. So,
Trish wants to know if you just ate a raw scallop.
I did.
Yeah. So yes, Trish, he has, and you can. So yeah, we've got quite a dialogue going on here.
Any other questions?
What other questions? Someone wanted to know if you're going to be offering Alaskan salmon.
Yes, Alaskan salmon. We missed the market on the wild-caught salmon. We have a policy that we only want a once frozen product. Unfortunately, right now, we could not get any wild Alaskan salmon that was once frozen. It's been twice frozen. So Paul and I actually met with a seafood cooperative out of Bristol Bay. Amazing. This guy's name is Michael Jackson, MJ, and we're going to work with them when the season starts in June. They're actually going to harvest for us, land it, fillet it, portion, and freeze it once. And that's the product we want. The next time it should be thought out is when you're eating it. That's what we want to have happen there. So the salmon, that we have wild and we also have farm. The Aurora is pretty amazing. I mean, you're not a big salmon fan, right?
Yeah, and I
That'd be
enjoyed
fair to
that.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like the Aurora though.
Yep.
So she'll eat the Aurora one.
And my father loves the
your
Aurora.
father loves
And
it
he's the
as well.
picky eater.
Yep. So I know we're running close on some time.
So another, just a quick, easy question to answer is, do you need a special pan?
You know what? I like gas stoves, and for me to do the induction was hard to work with. I absolutely love it. I just make sure I like the Teflon. It makes it easier. Get the oil hot. Avocado oil is the best way to do this. The other thing that I want to talk about too is what's next. Starting this weekend, tomorrow, we have like 3 new boxes that we're going to have. We're going to have a keto box, a paleo box, and for the person that asked about the wild salmon,
Yeah.
we have a Go Wild salmon box as well. And we just brought in halibut. We just brought in some sable fish. Oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. It's from Alaska. Day boats that come in. I was stunned about how good and juicy this fish is. It's delicious. It's almost impossible to overcook because the fat content is really good on that. So monkfish is coming, one of my favorites.
Yep.
And branzino. Remember when you ordered branzino?
Yes, it came
in Venice?
with
and
the
it came
head on.
with the head on,
Yeah.
the eyeballs looking at it. She said, I'm not eating that. So what we did is we asked the people over in the Mediterranean to actually fillet it for us. And so we're going to have filleted, honey. So you won't have to look at eyeballs.
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
tail.
As you can see, I'm very, very spoiled with a lot of phenomenal restaurant style meals here. Sorry to interrupt, but I just got word of our winner. So do you want to talk about, look at that awesome, awesome winner.
Who is it?
Yep.
There's a guy named Jonathan Gold. Congratulations, Mr. Gold, and your family, because you're going to get a nobody box. And that's what I love about it. We got a bunch of nobodies, right? I have to give the credit to Paul on the term nobodies. He came up with that. I thought it was pretty cool. So congratulations, Jonathan. And you know what? We're going to do this again. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know today was a crazy day, and I think
Hopefully we can add some levity and lightness,
Yeah.
and people are just enjoying
So let me
good
show you
food.
just real quick, honey, what your supper looks like tonight. Okay. So,
And we didn't overcook the scallops?
nope, I shut them off. So this is a very healthy offering for Dana. So basically it's broccoli sprouts, some zucchini, some red pepper, and I actually did the seasoning with a jalapeno lime white balsamic vinegar that I tossed with a Persian lime infused extra virgin olive oil.
Thank you
These
so
look good.
much.
Zach and I, we're going to be doing the other stuff. We're going straight to the risotto with the Sear scallops.
Super.
Okay.
Super. So thank you guys so much for joining us
Yep,
tonight.
thank you.
We're loving the feed and all the feedback about the technology, the education.
Yes, cheers.
But most importantly, we're nothing without the community. So thank you guys for.
Thank you so much. Hey, Zach, thank you. So we couldn't have done this without Zach. So hopefully we get to see you real soon, and join us again for the next time that we're going to do Catches and Cocktails. Tell us what you want to do the next one on. We'd enjoy coming up with something.
Yep.
different.
And stay safe and healthy.
Yeah.
And
Cheers.
we'll see
Happy
you at
New
the
Year.
next.
Bye now.